Frijoles by Gary Soto. Lincoln Mendoza and Tony Contreras are foreign exchange students in Japan. They are trying to fit into a culture that is very different from the one they knew in the United States. Luckily, they have a thoughtful host family. The Ono family is kind and giving. One evening, the boys decide to return their kindness. Mr. Ono raised his dinner plate to his face and studied the frijoles curiously. "I know this smell," he said. He moved a chopstick across the plate. Then he sucked on the end. "I know this taste," he concluded. "How can you know?" Mrs. Ono said. "I just know," he answered. "I am an international eater." Mrs. Ono rolled her eyes. She got up to check on the boys in the kitchen. For the past 3 hours, Lincoln and Tony have been preparing the food. They cooked the beans and smashed them into frijoles. They chopped chilies, onions, and tomatoes for salsa. They made dough into tortillas. Now they brought the rest of the food to the table and joined their host family. "We are honored that you made this for us," Mr. Ono said, smiling so that the gold crowns on his teeth showed. Mrs. Ono looked at Tony and Lincoln. "You are hard-working boys, and they have taught our sons valuable American words," Mr. Ono said. "Such as?" Mrs. Ono asked, trying some frijoles. Mr. Ono thought and then said, "Órale, ese!" He turned to Tony, who was headed back to the kitchen to fry more tortillas, and yelled, "Órale, ese! Simón que sí, papi!" Tony called back as he turned over one of his homemade tortillas. Tony returned from the kitchen with warm tortillas. "Here, try another before they get cold." He offered the stack of tortillas to Ono's sons, Mitsuo and Toshi. When Mitsuo bit into a tortilla, it crackled like a potato chip. He grunted and commented, "Interesting food." Lincoln looked at Tony, and Tony looked back. Lincoln whispered, "We messed up. These tortillas are hard as rocks." "Harder," Tony whispered back. "And the avocados ain't any good either. $5 a piece, man, and they're mostly black." "No wonder you two are so strong," Mrs. Ono said, trying to be kind. The food is so hard." Even the frijoles were undercooked. They had to mash them with their teeth before they could swallow. The salsa was more like ketchup than the fiery sauce that Lincoln and Tony's mothers made. But the Onos tried it all, smiled between bites, and drank their tea. After dinner, the four boys went to Mitsuo's room. They were still hungry. "We messed up," Tony said. He turned to the Japanese boys. "Mexican food really is good. If we knew how to cook, you'd be in paradise. My mom makes the best enchiladas." "We believe you," said Toshi. "If we had to make Japanese food, we would be terrible also." "I'm sure you guys could do better," Tony said. "No, we would starve," Mitsuo said. Toshi nodded in agreement. Mitsuo suggested that they go get ice cream cones. They left through the window. They didn't want to get in trouble, but they were still hungry. They looked around town, but all the stores were closed. After an hour, they raced home. Knots of hunger were twisting in their stomach. They arrived just in time. Mr. and Mrs. Ono were frying a fish that was nearly as large as a guitar. A new pot of rice was steaming. The tea was simmering, and icy bottles of ramen were waiting. Then at 9:45, with the moon hanging like a sickle in the sky, the fiesta really began.